Friends, hello. Hi, gang. It's TTPS. Let's put it in here. Let's put the Facebook group in straight away and let's see if I can pin that. Oh, look, there it goes. It's up there as well. Oh, hang on. If I click it there, am I creating? Oh, let's wait. Hopefully, I don't have this frog in my throat like I had last week. Let's have a look. Ricky, let's have a look. Hey, somebody's in. And we're in the room. And you're in the room. Hey up, Anik. Hey up, Greg. I like how everybody is adopting the old A-ups as well. You got me tea. You got me tea. Got me tea. A-up, Francis. Rotherham. There we go. An hour late. You must not have had your... Oh, no. All right, yeah. No, we haven't changed ours yet. I think it's next week. We do it next week, I imagine. Something like that. Let me just check on the... YouTube. We are live on the YouTube. I can see that. Are we live in the community? Let's have a look. Just refresh that. Let's everybody get in here. Yay! Nancy's in. And Richard. Mark. Yes. Paul McKinley. Evening. All from Edinburgh. Array. Dave in Mexico. So we've got Dave in Mexico as well. I'll just keep that running in the background there. The job's a good one. You was just, Dr. Adams, you were just studying the circle of thirds. Well, I'm going to do, this is what today's lesson is today. So it's a theory one today. Hey up, Joanne. Hey up, Steve. Hey up, Cornishman. Hey up, Gixero, New Me, Video Games. Hey up, Cats Rule. Hey up, Nick. Christine, you made it. Facebook user, Stratford-on-Avon. I'm not getting that one. Oh, Matthew Timms. I can see that on Facebook. So, yes, if you want to have your name up here, yeah, then you can just you hit that one and then your name will come up. Yes, finally. Hey, Thunder Ace. Here we go. Brian Boss, Jasmine. Excited to be here. All right, that's wonderful. Richard Kimmings. Oh, look, it's Kimmings. Richard Kimmings was one of my tutors at music college. A rather good drummer. And a producer. And master of mastering music. Sorry about that, Dr. Adams. Hey up, Sunday. How you doing? Tweak Freak from Arizona. Welcome. Chicago Timmer. Hey up from Chicago. Catch up. Yes, catch up the replay. The replay is going to be here, guys, so you don't need to worry about sticking around. It would be nice if you stick around. Oh, Alan Peters. Hello there. Stevie boy, my check is in the post. That's what they always say. There's two things that people always say that are lies. The check is in the post and something else that I can't actually say on here. Dr. Adams, I purchased your book with all the videos on the YouTube cover what I missed with you on here. The book is old now. Would you a second book, to be honest? So what I do is when I do lessons from the book, I tend to try and tie something new in that isn't in the book, but also links to it, because everything links in the end, I think, and it's useful to just connect everything. But in today's lesson, actually, yeah, if we go to the cycle of thirds, this is the page we're on today, guys. This is the one, yes. Circle of third. Now, the thing is, if you've done the lesson, then you'll know that I only did it in a couple of keys. But in the book, it's there in all 12 keys. Yeah? We've done it in all 12 keys. Greetings, Chris. Yes. Greetings, Big Steve. So, Kevin, ex-Yorkshireman, now in Kuno. Be there directly. Sometimes I wish I could get one of you pros to react to Noob's guitar vids because I got guitar vids and I want constructive criticism. Time for the kickback. Send me an email. Just send me an email. support@rickysguitar.com. Send me an email and I'll answer you and I'll have a look and see if I can help in any way whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, do you know what's better than guitar? More guitar. So the more people playing guitar, the better. What Greg Roberts' tune, Don't Make Me Regret This. I don't know how you could regret coming along, yeah, to witness a Yorkshireman display his wares. So we've got this here. So this is what the lesson is today. Cycle of thirds. And a hint of innuendo, but not too much. What we're going to do is actually we're going to tie this in here as well. Yes, you've been looking at the circle of thirds for the past few days. Oh, I love it. You know, the feedback that I get from the book is amazing, and I'm ever so grateful that you guys who've bought the book, you know, you've really invested. You know, you've invested the time to, you know, dissect it and everything, and there's tons of different stuff in there, and that was the whole idea. He bought 3 new guitars. Dr. Adams is buying. How many guitars is too many guitars? There was someone one of my students, Ron. He is a doctor, and he says there's a mathematical equation. If n equals something or other, then you know there's never enough. There's never enough. So, how are we doing? Let's have a look at this. We've been going for 7 minutes now. It is time. It is time. What's the book, Rick? Greg Roberts says, what's the book, Rick? What do you mean, the book? What's the book? This is the book. It's my book. It's a book of 80 of the guitar lessons from my YouTube channel. I think are probably the most useful ones that you will maybe get something from, and just fill in those holes, you know, these foundation things. I've been teaching guitar for over 30 years now, and it might be closer to 35. That makes me feel a little bit old, but we don't know. Oh, Steve's put it in there. Yes, page 25 and page 28 of the book, 26. Yeah, so yeah, there's 2 pages for the cycle, but we would also be looking at page 28 as well, because we're going to look at this one here. It will help beginners because I go into a lot of stuff about understanding the fretboard and that sort of stuff. There you go, Telefunken. You know the formula. That's the formula, right? Oh, thank you, Mitch. Colin's here. Well, you know, Colin, the thing is, yeah, I'm writing another book that's got more theory in it, and this is what this is all about. This is why I'm doing these live sessions. So let's crack on. Let's crack on, guys. Yes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my other camera, because what we need to do is we need to go through this, and I'm going to try and bring everybody along. And I wish this is something that I didn't learn at music college, Mr. Kimmins. This is something that I had to figure out myself, you know. So this is it. This is so yeah, there you go. I had to figure this stuff out myself. Right, so got my paper, got my pen, and we're about to hit the old piece of paper and pen trail here. So got my notes. Let's have a look. Let's keep them up there where I can just keep on glancing. Make sure I don't go off on too many tangents. If I go off on a tangent, it's because it's worth it. It's worthwhile. And what I'm doing is if there is a good tangent, I'm clipping them now and I'm uploading them to the channel, guys. If you notice, there's been some short videos been going out. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing next. Okay. So, right. Okay. The whole the whole idea of the cycle of thirds, the circle of thirds, the sequence of thirds, whatever you want to call it, is to enable you to really get to grips with harmony in diatonic key. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at chords, we're looking at scales, and we're thinking, well, yeah, that's great me learning them, but what can I do with them? And that's what we're going to do this today. Can't we go through this on guitar, please? Greg, this is a theory lesson, and I need to show you it all on here, and then we can apply it to the guitar. I can generally apply it to the guitar later on. Okay, so look, go with me on this, and I will probably hide the comments here so I just don't get distracted. I'll run through this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch cameras. Let me switch cameras. There we go. We switch cameras, and here we have a blank sheet of paper, and you know what we're going to do is we're going to make it nice and easy for everybody. I'm going to do this in the key of C major. Fear not. Yes, right. Okay, fear not. This is I'm going to do it in another key as well, just so that you understand what's going on and how I came to this kind of seeing this cycle of thirds. Yes, okay, right. So C major, let's just look at this here. We've got C major. Now, the ingredients for C major come from the C major scale. We're going to have 7 notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, now when we do it like that, that's an octave. But what we also get, what we also get is, there we go, root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, and that means 8 VE. That's the octave. So that is an octave. But what we can also do is we can double up on this. Yes, so we can double up. This is the ingredients that make all the chords. These are the ingredients for all the chords. So what we do is we're going to stack these notes, and then we're going to make triads with these notes, because like I say, these are the ingredients. But let me take this simple octave and show you that we can run it, and I'm going to run through this fairly quick. Yeah, and I want to introduce this idea that I'll just switch back here a minute. I want to introduce this idea when you think of something, because it's theory, you might think of it, and when I think of the musical alphabet or a scale, it's linear and it's terminal. Does this make sense? It's very linear, and then it ends. Yeah, and when it ends, you have to rethink it, and you have to go back to the beginning again. Whereas circles and cycles, I like thinking in those because they just join back up on each other. And for me, they seem to be quite an efficient way of thinking. So that's why I like circles. Circle of fourths. I don't mind the circle of fifths, but I like the circle of thirds, because I'll show you as we go through this why this makes sense. So what we had, yeah, is this idea that we have this linear concept of organizing the notes of C major there. So we've got this linear idea here. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, so that is one octave. But what we can do is we can take this up another octave, and this is going to make sense in a minute. Yeah, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now this is tying in with this lesson here, guys. Simple octave and the compound octave. If you've got the book, there's a link at the bottom. You can get to the lesson and you can review this material and go deeper into it. I'm just going to skim through this as much as I possibly can, but just to show you, simple octave is just here. Right, so simple octave's just here, and compound octave is here. And the reason that you need to know this is so that we can understand where all those fancy, expensive chords get their names. Yes, page 28. So we jump over. Now, the way that triads work is we jump over in tertian movement, right? So we're doing this thing, tertian movement. We're gathering, we're hopping over, like leapfrogging over to get the next note up. And so I'm just going to explain this compound octave. So we've got the root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then we've got 8 there. So if we look at that, you see we've got root, third, fifth. If I jump over again, then that bit there, this bit here, this forms the triad. Yeah, so that gives us a triad. Yeah, triad, triangle, triceratops, tripod. I say trifle, but I'm not sure trifle only has 3 layers, but yeah, maybe trifle. I don't know. Tripod, we'll put tripod in there. Yeah, it means 3. So we've got 3 notes there. But what we can do is within the simple octave, we can jump over and then we can gather the 7th. I think of this 7th as a bridging note. This note is super important. What this does is it bridges us into the compound octave. So if I was to take this stream of numbers and carry it on, yeah, remember this is still the root again. It's just a repeat of that root there. Okay. Why is there an apostrophe after the last T? No, that's just the dot. I tend to put dots on my capital I's because I'm weird. Right, so we go over, right, there's a D there. Okay, so we can see that we've got the D there. And what we do is just carry these numbers on. So we go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're back to C again, so that means we're essentially back at the root note. Okay, so we're back there again. Right, now if I carry this tertian movement all the way across here, what you'll see is then I'll pick up the F, I'll jump over, I'll pick up the A, and then what happens is I end up back on myself again. Yes? Can you see that there? So what I've done is I've done all that there. Now, for me, the simple octave is sacred. The root, no, I'm not going to call it a 15th like I could have done there. Yeah? The third, you can see here, it's called the 10th. Okay, now the thing is, this is old money. This is old school. You will hear things called tenths, and I think of that as being a more of a pianistic term. Yes? So, look at that. That's what we can think of it as. But I think of those as being compound thirds. Does this make sense why it would be called a compound third? Because it's a compound third. The E is a third, and it's in the compound octave. So this is why it's called a compound third. Yes? Okay, so that's a little thing to get out of that. Okay? But we don't want to really call it a 10th. And so for this exercise, what we're doing is we're actually going to get rid of that. We're not going to call it a 10th. We're just going to call it a compound third. Yeah? It's still the third. No matter which way you bake it, it's still a third. Right, so let's jump over. Let's have a look here at keeping on going up here. Right? If this is sacred, the G here, on the triad, the G here, I don't want to call it a 12th. You've never heard it called a 12th. Yes? Yeah, we don't want to call it a 12th. We don't. We want to remain, we want to hold the sacred idea that that is the 5th. We don't want to confuse ourselves double thinking that something is a 5th and that it's a 12th. Okay? Now, don't expect to take all this information in at one go. Yeah, this video will be up for you to review and you can watch it again. Follow along. Yeah, so here we go. So we've got this 7th here. The 7th, we can see it's this B here, and we could call it 14th, but you know that's ridiculous, so let's just get rid of it. Okay, not compound 5th. Don't do that to me. Richard, no, we're not going there. It's sacred. We're keeping the triad. Okay, we're just keeping the triad. Now, this here, what we end up with here is if we look, we can see that we get the root, the third, the 5th. We get a kind of 7th, we get a 9th, we get 11th, and we get a 13th. Let me just write that all out here. So we get root, 3rd, 5th. That's the triad. Then we get the 7th, which is the bridging note. And then what happens is we get the 9, the 11, and the 13, and those guys there, those are called the upper extensions. Right, so if you see chords, and they're called ninths, 11ths or 13ths, this is where we are deriving those from. Does this make sense, guys? So when you see an 11th chord, you might be thinking to yourself, right, well, I only know majors and minors. I know some 7ths, but where the hell does this 11th come from? Well, I'm about to show you here. So we can see here that this second, yeah, we've got a second here. This second note in the scale, right, it's also a 9, okay? It's also known as a 9th, yeah? We do keep this in the upper extension. So the second is the equivalent of a 9th. And the way you could kind of think about it is if you think of F sharp and G flat, they're enharmonic, but these are letter names, yeah? Well, what we've got here is we've got enharmonic intervals, okay? Okay, so look, so 2, then we look over here, we've got 4, and the 4, you can see here, is an F. So we've got an F and an F there. Look, 4 and 11. They're the same thing. They're also known as, yes? Then if we jump over to the A, which is this 6, we can see that the 6 is the same as the 13. Okay? It just means you're playing a note in another octave. Yes, in the compound octave. But to be fair, with guitar, sometimes it's easier to arrange a note and put it actually within the simple octave. Sometimes we don't want to get too caught up in all that too much. As long as well, part of my thinking is as I go on, when I think about guitar chords, I always think to myself, okay, what's the smallest chord that we have? What's the smallest chord that we have? If we think about it from caged chords, yeah, those are your 5. Those are your 5 shapes. The C and the A shapes use 5 strings. Yeah, the G and the E shapes use 6 strings, and the D shape uses 4 strings. So this is the minimal viable chord size that we need to be able to find any chord. And I'm talking, 13ths, 11ths, 9ths, all these funny sounding ones, all these expensive sounding chords. So we need to be able to find it in that smallest size chord and be able to express it as a D shape. Hopefully that makes sense, because it's easy with the G's and the E's because there's 6 strings to go at. Okay? Right, it's easy with those because you've got lots of different places you can find them. If you don't know where to find them, I've done a lesson on intervals and how to find those as well, and that's in the book. Okay, so we've got all this here. Now, the thing that struck me when I was going through this, and I thought, well, look, that's the beginning, simple octave to the compound octave, and that are really the same thing. So if I went like this, if I went C, E, G, C, E, G, B, D, B, it's best if I do it there, D, that looks like a P, but it's a D, D, F, A, and then it joins back up on itself there. And this is where I thought of and where I came around to this idea of this cycle of thirds. You can call it what you want. Circle of thirds. This is where the inspiration came from. I just joined that up because I knew that this, you see here, if I look at this, if I looked at this as being C major here, look, if we did it here, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, if I had a chord I could play that on the piano, 7 notes all at the same time. I could play that on the piano because I've got 10 fingers to go at. Guitar, like I said, the minimum we want to be able to do it is 4. Okay, but for today's purposes, we're just looking at that. That's the full expression of the C major triad. Yeah, so we're just using the C major scale, but this is chord 1. This is full expression of chord 1. So this is what I call the full chord. That's the full chord. Now, if we've got 4 strings, but 7 notes, we have to get rid of some of these notes. Yeah, that's going to come later on. All right. That's going to come later on. But I want you to understand that this is the full expression. This would be a C major 13 chord. C major 13, it's got all those notes. And here is the thing. When we do that, we join all these up. All these semitones, these half steps that live within this full expression of this chord will clash. They will cause tension. They will cause tension. And that's the thing. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes in a chord. The more sounds you have in the harmony, the more complex it's going to sound. Yeah? If you use chords from 2 keys, yeah, then it's going to sound really, really complicated. Yeah, but we're just doing it from 1 key here. Okay? Does this make... Hopefully this makes sense here. Okay? Right. Okay, just let me get a sip of water. But what do we do with it? Greg says. This is more than bar chords, Marcel. This is more. This is all the chords. This is how you understand all the chords and what goes with what. If there's a chord, if there was a C major 13, then there are you would be able to target specific triads, triad shapes, scales, and you could pull out certain personality of these chords, and make and create that emotional response that you're after when you play music. Okay, that's what it's all about. Yeah, don't forget, guys. Music is the language of emotion. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to convey an emotion. How can we convey an emotion if we are essentially robotic in how we approach chords? We have to understand how the notes clash against each other. They rub and they create tensions, but the tensions are not always the same. Some tensions can create longing, some can create feelings of love, some can create feelings of immense sadness. So we need to be able to control all this stuff so that when we play the chords, we can associate that sound with a chord type. If we're going to associate a sound to a chord type, then we can associate a scale to it, and then we can improvise over the top of it. We can compose with that. And we've got to remember that composition, comes from improvisation. Improvisation is the foundation of composition. So every song that you ever want to learn to play, every song comes from improvisation first. Every song, somebody has to think of it and go, right, okay, this is going to be a sad song about when I was a teenager and I was in love and then she broke my heart and all that stuff. Yeah, all that good stuff. So then you've got to think, all right, okay, well, so you put it all together, and these are all the elements that we need to understand. And this is what this is. So I'm going to switch back now. Hey, pal! Right, so hopefully that makes sense. So the cycle of thirds here, it can be represented now here as this. Now, what I said before is I can do it this way, and I'm going to do something else with this, because there was on the cycle of thirds video that I did, there was some questions that I want to address as well. So look at this. This is the root. This is the third. This is the fifth. This is the 7th. This is the 9th. This is the 11th, and this is the 13th. You play a C, E, G there. Right, you play that C triad there, and then you put a D on as well. You are playing a C add 9. That's a little glimpse into how this all works. If you've got the 7 that's doing its bridging job, then this is just so this, look, this is the major triad. We add this one, it becomes C major 7. We move it up here, we get C major 9, C major 11, C major 13. If we omit notes or we do something funky with the third, then the naming conventions change. Yeah, we will get into that at some point. Maybe, hopefully today, maybe not. But the thing is, I wanted to show you this from this perspective here. Now, there's another way to look at this as well. And if I just take this over here, yeah, I just want to work out and show you how these notes that we have here, these ingredients, all right, what we're going to do is I'm going to stack them, and I'm going to stack them in, I'm going to use letters. I'm not using standard notation. You don't need to read music, because I think this makes it really, really easy for you to get your head into. So if we look at the key of C major again, we go C, D, E, F, G, A, B. We've got those 7 notes there, guys. We've got those 7 notes. Now, what we can do is we can not only just think of them as those letter names, those scale degrees, we can also think of them as root notes for our chords. And I'm just going to write the Roman numeral tonality underneath there with the tonality built in. Yeah, we use uppercase for major sounds, lowercase with dots there for minor sounds, and then we've got this degree symbol here that tells us that this is B diminished. Okay, so if we look at this, what we're going to see is, this is how triads work. And so this actually ties into another lesson in the book, and I don't know where it is, because I didn't look into this one beforehand, but it is on the channel as well. It is there. So we could possibly find that. Well, it's probably just easier for me to just show you. So the thing is, these guys here, these are all root notes. They're all root notes. Right? Now, the way chords, the way that triads work, we have a root, we have a third, and we have a fifth. So that's what we're looking at here. We've got a root, a third, and a fifth. And if we think about it, going up here, I can calculate it this way, but I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this circle of thirds back in here. C, E, G, B, D, F, A. Yeah. And the way I remember it is, and I don't care how you remember it, how you can memorize it really, as if you make up your own mnemonic. I remember it as every good band deserves fans and cash. Yeah, because when I saw that, I realised that that was an easier way for me to read notes on the staff, on the stave. So look, so here, if I start on this note here, this is the root note for chord 1. This is the root note for chord 1. So I'll just show you how this cycle of thirds. Not only does it tell you what the full chord is as a 13th, up to the 13th expression, it's going to show you, look, there's the root, third, and fifth for chord 1. So look, root, third, and fifth. Okay, so in between there. Now what we've got to figure out is, and I just know this, so I'll talk through this and you'll understand it. The distance between C and E is a major third, and that's what defines the tonality of the chord. Yes, so major chords, they have, funnily enough, a major third. Minor chords, they have a minor third. Okay? The top of the circle is slightly... right, I'll bring it down just a little bit. Hopefully that's a bit better. Okay? Let's look. Let's see. Let's pull that down there. Okay. So, right. So we've got that going on there. But we also get another third here. Look, you can see it. This is the same expression. This is another way of looking at the triad. We're jumping over there with the triads. But here, we're stacking it. We're stacking it so that you can see it. And you think about it, this is the lowest sound going up. Low, middle, high. If you want to look at that. Yeah. Okay. Now, the thing that I'm going to do is, for major chords, right, for the major third, I'm going to use this symbol here. There's some pedants that talk about it being used for just for major 7 chords and major 9s and stuff like that. But I just use it to denote major. It's just shorthand. That's all it is. And that's what music theory should be. I use a minus symbol here for a minor. Yeah? So in between C and E, the third that we get is a major third. And I can actually put that in here. So if I put major there, going between that C to that E, you can see that that's what's going on there. Because on the video on my channel, people were saying, all right, okay, let's look at, you know, what kind of third is it between these notes, right? Okay, well, look, you'll start to see this relationship, but I want you to see how beautiful this works with major and minor triads. It really is spectacular. So with major triads, we've got in between the root and the third, we've got a major third, but in between the third and the fifth, it is always a minor third. So we get this stack. So we go a major third and then a minor third to get to the fifth. It's organized that way. It's wonderful, right? So that's what we do there. Now, the next chord we're going to come along to here is going to be this D. And I should just say, because this is major here, I don't need to change this here. I know that this is going to be a chord C major. This is C major here. This one here. So let's go here. I'm going to go over to this one here. And I know this is my root note for the 2 chord. So I'll just put 2 there. Okay. The 2 is going to go there. So that's my root for my 2 chord. That's the third for my 2 chord. That's the fifth for my 2 chord. I'll put them there. D, F, A. Yeah. Deserves, fans, and. Yeah. Cash, every good. Deserves, fans, and. Whatever mnemonic you want to come up with until you don't need the mnemonic. That's up to you. Now, the cool thing is with this one, D to an F. I know that this is a minor. It's a minor third. And I'm just going to put that there. And you can memorize this. We've got this minor third here. Then if we go from the F to the A, this is always going to be a major third. And that gives me a D minor chord. So these are the first 2 chords I've just shown you when we stack these scale degrees to make the triads. Yeah, they're just notes from the scale. But hopefully you can see we've got the root, the third, and the fifth in a row there like this. So, but it's cool. It's cool. It's always going to be the same. It's always going to stack the same way. Look, root, third, fifth. We're going to go in between there, major, minor. And that's going to be how major stacks, like that. All right, root, flat third, which makes sense. That's going to be minor, fifth. And then we're going to get that major on there. And that's the way you can remember it. So let's do that. Let's put these in here. Actually, let's go back to that chord 1 because I can put that information in here because it goes major and then in between E and G we've got a minor third. So I'll put that in there just to help us along the way. Yeah. Now what I can do is I can figure it out here. D to the F is going to be minor. Okay. So D to the F is going to be minor. F to the A is going to give me major. So this is telling me the distance in between these here, in between this and this. Yeah. Right. And this one and this one. Right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. E, every good band. This is chord 3. So let me put chord 3 there. We've got chord 3. E, every good band. E, the most Yorkshire of all the notes and all the chords. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I just always do that. Whenever I say E, I think that's what we say. That's how a Yorkshireman says, oh, we don't know what's going on. E by gum. Right, so we go E to G. Okay, because I know that E to G is a minor third, then this is going to be a minor chord as well. So we get E minor. I'm going to work through these quickly. Yeah, so another minor chord. Phil, if you keep on turning up late like this, I'm going to have to, like send you to stand in the corner or something, like the bad boy that you are. All right, bad boys arrive late. Or is it the best guests always arrive late? I have heard that. So, anyhow, let's carry on. Let's look at this. This is going to be chord 4. Yeah, so the next one, we're going to look at this. We're going to put this here. This is chord 4. So the cycle, not only does it tell us the notes in the full expression of the chord, you can see here it's telling us which one are going to be where we start and where we build off our cycles. So F, A, C, fans and cash. Right. The Roman numeral spelling is already telling me, because it's uppercase, I know it's major. So the thing is, that's a double little confirmation if you think about it. F to the A. If we go from the F to the A, that's going to be major. A to the C, that's going to be minor. So look, let's put that in. And we could confirm that. It's already populated that information there. But A to the C is going to be minus there. See that? Apple in the pocket. That's the one. So we have a minus in there, right? Okay, I'm just thinking I might just draw those a little bit. I'll do those in red, actually, because it's nice to get some extra colours in there. Let's put that one in there. Let's put that. That's good. Okay, so the next one we've got, okay, hang on. I'm jumping the gun here. F, A, C. There's my triad. And I can see that it's got a major third there, so that's just going to be an F chord. Look, the first 4 chords are revealing themselves to me. G. Let's look at the next one. Going from the G. Well, this is going to be chord 5. Look, so there's chord 5 there. G, B, D. Good, band deserves. So we go G, B, D. Right. The tonality is already spelt out in the Roman numeral. We can see that it's major, so we're going to put that on there. Major, minor. Okay? So it's always super useful for us to be able to understand it from this. That's the framework. If we apply notes to it in alphabet form, then we can see them there. And it doesn't have to be C major. It could be any key. It's always going to be the same. You just add your sharps and flats from the key to the alphabet letters. So let's do this here. So A, let's go on to this. So we're on chord 6 now. Where's the A? There's the A. 6 is there. And we can see, oh, hang on, I didn't do G. I didn't finish off G. Oh, come on, Ricky. Right, let me do this with my other coloured pen. I'll just drop my other one. G, B. All right. Let's get that there. Drop my pen. And then we'll put this minus here because that sits in between there. So we can see that we've got the minor third in between there. So you can see it's just this cycle of different thirds, right? And there are different, it's not all major thirds and it's not all minor thirds. Okay, it's not all major, it's not all minor thirds. There's a mix, yeah. So you've got to. This is what you've got to get used to seeing and understanding it from this perspective, where we stack these notes like this. Then it's going to help. So A. Now we can move on. Yeah, A. Finish that little drawing there. A, C, E. Well, look, it's already filled out for me. It's already filled out. A, C, E, and cash every. So we've got A to C, going to be minor. C to E, well, look, we can actually use part of the other chords if we get stuck and we want to just cross-reference and, you know, clarify, because it's good to confirm stuff sometimes. We can see that that's major. But you can see it's already been spelt out there for us in this cycle of thirds here. So we've got that one there, right? So that's A minor. Let's put the name of the chord there, A minor. Now we've got a tricky one. We have a tricky one. And actually, because we've spelt everything out, we can see that this B here is going to be chord 7, which is diminished. It's got this little circle here that denotes diminished. And if we look, we go root, third, fifth of that diminished triad. We can see we've got a minor third followed by another minor third. So this changes the rule ever so slightly. So we get a root, we get a flat third, but we also get a flat fifth. If you imagine it, pulling that fifth back a fret, then it would be flattened. Yes, it's important to know if you play blues. So there you get 2 minor thirds that stack upon top of each other. So B, D, F, B, D, F. Okay. Minor and minor. Yeah, get some likes. Do you know what? I always forget to say, get some likes. You know, get some likes on here. Get this shared. Get the video shared, actually. Do you know what? I'm going to do is if you're enjoying it and you haven't got the book, hang on. Woo! There we go. You can buy the book here. Shameless plug. You know, there you go. So hang on, let me turn it off and put it back on again while I have a sip of water. Get some likes going. Share it with on Facebook or on YouTube if you're watching it, and just share, and that'd be great. Thank you very much. Let me get rid of that there. So hopefully you can see that this explains the tonality of the chords that we get in the major key there. Now, that's brilliant. That's really, really useful. It's super, super useful. Where are we at with time? 44 minutes. Okay. But these are just triads. These aren't the full expression of the chord. Yeah, these are not the full expression of the chord. Okay? Remember, the full expression of the chord was this. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th and 13th. Well, we've only got 3 notes. We've got another 4 to go at. So how do we do that? Well, let's do this in a more logical way. And what I want to do, let me just fill that in there as B diminished, right, is if you remember the lesson that I did a while ago, I think I called it the Rosetta Stone lesson, and I talked to you about how these things are synonyms. When we're in the key of C major, we're thinking that the chord is C major, but we can also think of it as chord 1. So there's 2 ways that we can think of it. You know, if you want to think about the structure, then you can come down here and think about how the thirds are stacked. That's another layer of understanding. Yeah, that's another level of understanding. So the way I think of it is there are synonyms, and this is what I go on about. Synonyms for these things. So for chord 1, what we can do, and don't let this scare you because I'm going to say the word. I'm going to say the M word, modes. We can think of modes. So this is, as well as being major, it's also known as Ionian. Yeah, so chord 1 and Ionian are the same thing. Right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Chord 2 is Dorian. Now, some of you who were here the other week, you put some ways of memorizing the order of the modes. I remember it as I don't particularly like modes a lot, or idpul mal. If you want to put that in the comments there, that would be great. So look at that, Dorian. Then the next one we get is Phrygian. Next is Lydian. Mixolydian. And somebody said, I don't particularly like my Aunt Linda. Which I thought was all right. Oh, that's a cool one. But I've got a sister called Linda, and I was like, oh, crikey, she won't want to hear that one. So, there we go. So now we've got the synonyms for this. And these synonyms, I too play loud music at lunch. There you go. Steve's put one in there. Whichever one makes sense. IDPLMAL. Yes, I don't... so I don't particularly like... Is that just a statement you missed? Richard, you missed off the A and the L there for Aeolian and Locrian. I don't particularly like in dark rooms. In dark rooms, people stop. In dark places, lovemaking always lurks. Oh, remember that one. Yes. Oh. Right, so we have all these novel ways of remembering these modes. The other way that we can look at it, remember, so I said to you that this C here, we can think of it as just being a C major chord, but on another level, we can think of it of its structure of being, you know, a major third and a minor third stacked. Idpul mal, that's the one I remember, Maria. Idpul mal, it's just easy. And I uppercase and lowercase them as well, because, you know, I associate the tonality with it. So, you know, id, pull, uppercase, lowercase, mal. Definitely do it like that, because I associate the minor or majorness to it. Yes, that's useful. If it's got a major third, we're going to use uppercase. If it's got a minor third in the mode, then we're going to put it in as lowercase as well. So... when we think Ionian, we think major scale. And we know that the major scale, what we have to do is the major scale has a formula. I showed you that right at the beginning, the formula. That's the root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Those are the scale degrees. That's what we need to do. That's what we need. We got it so far. Is everybody okay? Let me just switch because I'm just about to hit another section here. Okay, does this make sense, guys, so far? Any questions? Let's have a look and see if there's any questions. Yeah, hit those likes. Let's get some more comments, and let's get some more likes, and let's get some shares, and let's get some subscribes, and let's get all that good stuff. Okay, let's get all that good stuff going. Yes? Does that make sense? Right. Okay. I keep on meaning to do this video, do a video, and the title for the video on YouTube is going to be, "Do I need to learn modes?" And on the thumbnail, it's going to say, it's going to picture of me saying yes, but not in the way that you think. Yeah, not in the way that you think. Yes, it's like, yeah, hang on. I'm just Anik. Yeah, is the pentatonic scale mode or a major scale? Pentatonic. The way we can look at it is the pentatonic is a skeleton scale, yeah, and then what we do is we add 2 extra notes and we can get all our 7-note scales, which are our modes. There are other scales as well, like the natural minor and the melodic minor, that are a little bit to the side of that, and those are different things that we've got to think about those differently, and that's a topic for another video. Anyhow, so everybody's up to speed here, and I will say, and I'll check this because I'm sure I put it in there. I thought I put some useful information in the book as well because it's more of a workbook. The book is a workbook, you know, and it's like you work on one lesson at a time, and then you see how it connects to other things. So all these things, everything on guitar connects. Let me get back to the back of the book just to show you. It's a plug. This is a plug, really. Where is it? 74. There we go. Let's find it. Right, okay. There we go. There we go. I knew it was in the book. So in the book, there's some stuff that you just need to know. Yeah? Common scale formulas. Yeah, common chord formulas. These are the most common chords you're going to come across. Yeah? Okay, so that's what we've got to do. We've got to memorize this. And these are just recipes. That's what we're doing. When we remember this stuff, it's just a recipe. That's all it is. It's just a recipe to help us. How do you get a copy of the book? Oh, right. Okay, now I have to type now. That's okay. You can get it here. Let me I'm going to flash my graphic. Boom! There you go. Yeah, you can get the book there, Simon. There's a QR code there. Too many, not in one room. Oh, crikey. I've got a few. I've got a few guitars. Too many at the moment. I need a cull. Right? Or you can go here. And you can get the book there. It's available on Amazon, and you can get a spiral bound from Lulu, or you can download it as well. I've got a PDF ebook version as well. If you can't wait for Amazon to come to your house, like me. Do you know something? It's like I don't think a day goes by when I don't buy something off Amazon. It's terrible, isn't it? It's so convenient. Really. Okay. So here you can see what I've done to save time. Yeah, I've got these mode formulas. I've put these mode formulas in here, and then we can see the recipe, if you will, for each scale. Ionian. Notice because it's major. Yeah, this is the major scale. Root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. None of those scale degrees have been altered or changed in any way. But if we look at Dorian, we can see that it's got root, 2nd, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7. I've highlighted them for ease here. Phrygian, root, it's got a flat 2nd, flat 3rd, the flat 6th and the flat 7th. These become the colour notes. These become the notes that give it its personality. So this is why you need these different sounds. There is a kind of a lightness to darkness with modes and the way that they sound. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lightness and darkness. Lydian is the lightest sound, whereas Locrian is the darkest sound. And the reason it's the darkest sound is because it's got all the flats. Look at that. It's the most altered scale in there. This sharp 4 in the Lydian gives us a kind of a very uplifting feeling. If you ever listen to Steve Vai or Frank Zappa, yeah, or Joe Satriani, Lydian, that's their sound. Yeah, Gary Moore is Mixolydian, and this is linked to the blues. Yeah, so this is going to give you bluesy sounds. So you need to know what chords to put it on. Yes, you need to know what chords. The modes were I think they were named after Greek tribes. Yes, they were. I think they were. But it doesn't really matter too much, Maria, because really, to be fair, they're just labels, aren't they? You know, you look at that, you go, oh yeah, it's a pen. It's a label. It's just a way of identifying something. Yes, Billy Joe, well done, that man. Yes, New Ibanez on Saturday. NGD. New Guitar Day, can't beat it. Right, okay, so here we've got these modes. But the thing is, okay, what do you play these modes on? Remember, I said that the word for mode, when I hear the word mode, it's equivalent to the word mood. Yeah, because mood is the language of emotion. We're creating moods. We're creating moods that exist in the now. Yes. True Armour's here. There we go. Right, mode. It's a quill. I should do that. I should just do it just for once. Just put a quill out and then do it all in a quill. That would be funny. So we've got these mode formulas, but now what we've got, what we want to do is I want to show you how we can associate this. Remember, what I did before is, I'm going to move this up here. All right. And in fact, actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to do another cycle of thirds. We're going to do another cycle. But I have a special sheet of paper for this one. I'm going to do another cycle. Got this blank one here. All right. Right. So here is why you need to know how to read your key signatures. Key signatures are really important, guys. I released a new video on my channel. You need to understand key signatures to be able to find them. If you don't understand key signatures, you can't play in every key. Yes? Okay. So let's look at this. Let's do another key. And like I say, in the book, what page was it on? Oh, come on. I had it 70 something or other, wasn't it? And I'll show you. I'll just show you how you work this out. Oh my Lord. I've missed it somewhere. In the book. if I can find it. Yeah, this cycle of thirds. I've done it in all 12 keys. All 12 keys are there for you to reference. You don't need to work it all out if you can't get it in your head. It's okay, don't worry. Where is it? That's not it. I'm too far back. Okay. Too far back. Someone oh, 24. Page 25. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Look. I've attached the sharps and the flats to the keys. Yeah. These are notes for myself. And I hope that your book is looking as tatty as mine. Yeah, but what I tend to do is I tend to just put the key signature in the middle, just to help me, just to remind me. So on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a key. Let's do right, okay, remember, I'll just do this. For sharp keys, you take the last sharp and you raise it a semitone, and that is your key. So here, Father Charles goes G sharp, raise it a semitone, gives you an A. So this is the key of A. Okay? I'm going to put this A in here. Yeah? Okay, so we've got A there. Now what we do is we're going to go around the cycle and we're going to use our mnemonic to help us to fill it out. And cash, every good band deserves fans. Okay? Now that's still just C major. Until we put the sharps on, then it's not going to do us any good. So let's put them on. So Father, F sharp, C sharp, Charles, C sharp, G, G sharp, goes. There we go. We've got the key now of A major. And we know from this, okay? We know from this, if we go like this, we just actually go through the letter names. And we could put the Roman numerals on them. Look, A is going to be chord 1. A is chord 1. Let's jump straight over to the B. It's going to be chord 2. Yeah. Because I've put that on there, I could look at it and think of it as being B minor. Does that make sense? I can change it. I could put that on if it makes sense. I could put that there. A is chord 1. This is going to be B minor. Okay. They're the same thing. That's the root note of the B minor. And we can express it as the 2 minor there. So we've got B. Okay, so C's next, but it's been changed. So this is going to be chord 3. And that's going to give us C sharp minor. Okay. Let's find D, which is always opposite. There we go like that. So we go D, which is going to be chord 4, which is going to be D major. Perfect. Let's jump over again. So it just crosses over. It just usually opposite. You just go around. It's some sort of weird kind of mazy thing. So we go like that. We go D over to E. This is going to be chord 5, which is going to be E. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to F sharp, which is going to be chord 6. Yeah. But because we've got this lowercase spelling here, it's going to be F sharp minor. And we jump over to G sharp minor. G sharp, sorry, not minor. G sharp here, we can see that that's the leading note. So that's the leading note, and that's going to take us back to A. Yeah? So this is going to be 6 here, and this is going to be G sharp diminished. There's the chords. No, this doesn't work with frets. This isn't about frets really there, Big Steve. Okay. You know, we're thinking about key here. This is really about just putting those notes in there and deriving the chords from that. Okay. What we can do is then we can say to ourselves, all right, okay, let's just write them out in a linear manner. You know, I was saying that right at the beginning that we can understand things in a linear manner, but we can also understand them in a circular manner. So this circle, you might have to hunt around for it a bit, yeah? And so you go A, B minor, C sharp minor. Might not have enough space here. Might have to just go down here. Yeah. C sharp minor, D, E, F sharp minor, and then G sharp diminished. Those are just chords in the key of A. Yeah? Now the thing is, if you want to think about that, yeah, somebody said it. Richard's already said it. Look at this. Richard's already said it, haven't you? Do you know what? This is a tangent, guys. This is a tangent. Pay attention. This is for guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1. And I promise I won't draw my L7 grid the wrong way this week. Yeah. We've got the L7 grid. Remember the L7 grid? The mighty L7 grid. The gift that keeps on giving. Yes, we have 2, 3, and 6. You can clarify this with me. That this chord 1 here, if you take this here, that A, and you make that your first chord there in that L7 grid on the E and the A string. Yes. Does the B diminished chord get changed to B minor in the scale of A Dorian? That's a complicated way of thinking about it, Anik. right? So you just stick with this. Stick with what I'm going through now. Yeah, it's probably a little bit easier. But I just wanted to relate this. That would be easier for me to explain with. Does the razor semitone also apply to a B for the key? I'm not sure what you mean there. For B major is a sharp key. Yeah. There's a video, and I did it on the channel. Let's have a look. Videos. Let's have a look. Hang on. Let's not have that one. Not that one. Not that one. That one. That one. Oh, there we go. So let's look at this one. Share. Copy. Yep. This is key signatures. That one's there. That's how you find those sharps and flats. Yeah. Or did I just do flats in that one? I'm not too sure. I think I did all of them. Yes. I think I did all of them in there. Right, okay, let's keep on track. Let's keep on track here, guys. Whatever your tonic is there, chord 1 is, then you just put it there and then you play your grids like that. In flats, it's the next to last flat is the key signature, yes. But the thing of it is, yeah, and actually, Richard Shields, yeah, is saying, follow the grid. You don't need all this. It's going to help. I'm not going to lie. It's going to help. It's going to help give you a deeper understanding. But the grid is going to unlock it. That's the practical application. Okay, Dr. Adams, take care. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is the L7 grid here. You could just think of it as the major grid if you want to think about it. Okay, so we can look at it in that way. But there is the thing that I was on about before. The thing that I was on about before, and I want to get into. Hopefully we have enough time. We're an hour in. Okay. And I think we just need to get through this, and I just need to kind of draw a line under it and close it off. This is the full expression. And this is the bit. This is the gold that I want to show you. This is gold. This is gold. We're going to use the key of A. Yes, we're going to use the key of A. This is the key of A. Right? And we're going to go here. We're going to go A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then we get G sharp at the end there. So that's essentially the A major scale. I've done a video on that as well, gone in. It's on my channel. Yes. Okay. Okay. Ricardo, this is going live on YouTube as well at the same time. So look at this here, guys. I'm just going to show you. I've already got my information that I need here. I've got my information. Look at this. So what we can do is we can take this. Look, if I just cordon these first 3 notes off here. Look at this. I've got the first 3 notes there. Now this is going to be, if I look at this as being my cycle of thirds going up this way, just like I stacked them before. Where is it? I've lost the diagram. There. Like I did these. You see here, C, E, G. Yeah? I could put them in circles like that. C, E, G. I'm going to do it here. So now I've got A, C sharp, E. Those are the notes for my triad for chord 1. A, C, E. Okay? A, C, E. Right, so now I know it's a C sharp here. All I need to do is carry my musical alphabet all the way along there. Look, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and then B. Okay? So I've just taken those on along there. Remembering that in between there and there, We're going to have a minor there. We're going to have a major there. Does this make sense? So we've got as triads. We're building as triads. This is chord 1, A major. Okay. Next thing, E. Then what we can do is we can do the same thing. B, D, F. Band deserves fans. Cash every good. Let me put those sharps on. Otherwise we'll be in a sticky situation. Right. D, F, sharp, A. E, G sharp, B. Every good band. We're just amending them with these sharps. Okay. F, A, C sharp. F, A, C. It's still going to be the same thing. G, B, D. Okay, so we've still got the same triads. And those rules that we had there for those triads, yeah, they're going to carry over as well. So B to D, that's going to be minor. D to the F sharp, that's going to be major. Because I know that this is how the minor triad is constructed. Same thing. I won't get into all of these here. I don't need to get into all of these here because I need to reserve some space to be able to show you the next bit of information. But what I can do is I can carry this information here and I can go A, C, E, and cash every good band deserves fans. Let me put the sharps on it. I'm going to put the 7th. I'm going to put the segment, the 7th off there. So here we have the triad in this section. This is the 7th. And these are the upper extensions. Do you remember? From the compound octave. Now what we're doing is we're expressing each chord in its full 7-note voicing. Band deserves fans and cash every good. Yeah? Cash every good band deserves fans and... There's something missing there. No, there isn't. Deserves fans and cash every good band. Every good band deserves fans and cash. So this is not only just spelling out the letters, okay? It's not just spelling out the letters. It also... Okay, it's also, I'm going to get into the intervals as well. So F, A, C, fans and cash, every good band deserves. Okay, I've got them all there. Now we're on the last one. Good band deserves fans and cash. Oh, I'm going to put the sharp in that one. Good band deserves fans and cash every. Okay. So here, so we've got the triad, got the 7th, and then we've got the extensions. Right, the extensions are up there. Now that's great. But the thing of it is, the information that you need to know about this is, like I said to you right at the beginning, that this is an expression. This is an expression of the full scale. If we do it on chord 1, we can think of it as Ionian. Now all we need to do is find the sheet first. Is find the sheet. And we look at the sheet. Look at this sheet here, guys. Root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Now we have to express that as in the tertian. Yeah? Remember the formula for that was root, 3rd, 5th. So I'll do this here. Look, that's going to be my triad. Root, 3rd, 5th. Then we get a 7th. We get a 9th, 11th, and then we get a 13. So you want to know you're playing an A major 13. You want to know what the 13 is. It's going to be an F sharp. It's telling you. It's lining them up for you and showing you which ones are which. 9, 11, 13. So not only can you use the interval information, you can actually use the notes because you know where the notes are on your fretboard, of course. You do know where the notes are on your fretboard, don't you? Well, if you don't, then that's what the next book is about. It's about understanding your fretboard. Okay? Root. Right, okay. Here, let's apply this to it here. Root, third, fifth, 7, 9, 11, 13. Let me amend those intervals now so that they tally with the spelling for Dorian. Yeah, so we've got root, we've got a flat third. We have a fifth. Yeah, that's fine, because remember the triad is sacred. Okay, the triad is sacred. But, oh, hang on, we've got a flat 7, so let's amend that there. So we can see here that we've got a minor triad with a minor 7. So that means we're going to get a minor 7 chord. Okay? Also, is the 9th altered? No, because remember guys, 2 and 9, 4 and 11, 6 and 13, they're synonyms, they're enharmonic intervals, if we're looking at them in that way. Okay? So I should just say as well, if we have a flat second, then that's going to alter that compound interval as well. So we get flat second becomes flat 9. Look at this. Let's look at something else like sharp 4 can become sharp 11. Yeah? Flat 6 is going to be flat 13. See, this is where all those expensive sounding chords come from, guys. Look. Right, now we're fortunate in this instance that the 9th is just a second. Phew! The 4th is just a 4th. Good. The 6th is just a 6th, so we don't need to change anything there. But you start to be able to see that you could have a minor 9 chord, a minor 11 chord, a minor 13 chord, but bear it in mind, there are 2 semitones, half steps embedded in there, which will create tension, and that rub might not be what you are looking for. Let me just move this over here a little bit. We're going to do this one here. Right, so let's look at Phrygian. Phrygian is the 3rd mode. We've got a root, we've got a 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13. Okay? Yes, this one here. Right? So Phrygian. It's got a flat 3rd. Okay, right, that's good. It's got a normal 5th. Okay, we're good. We're solid there. Flat 6. Flat 7. Now we can see that this is going to be minor. We know it's minor because the Roman numeral spelling tells us. It's a C sharp minor. You play a C sharp minor chord, you're going to play Phrygian on top of it. In the key of A. Okay? But if we look at Phrygian, there is an anomaly that we get there with this. We have a flat 2nd, so that means we have this rule is going to apply. So this becomes a flat 9. Now flat 9, if you think about it, it's a semitone away from the root note. That's not always going to be the best sound. Flat 6 is going to be a flat 13. Remember, 4 strings are the chords that we're looking at. Remember, any chord we want to be able to make on a D shape. 4 strings. So we can omit and get rid of these. We're going to do another session at some point talking about these chords and working them out using this idea here. So now let's look at Lydian. Lydian, we go root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13. Right, well, we know that that's fine. We can see here, the only note that's different is the sharp 4. The sharp 4 is going to be called a sharp 11. So if you get a sharp 11 chord, you play Lydian on it, and that's it. That's what you do. You play that on top. Yeah, make sure you like this, guys. Share it. This is real. This is gold, right? This is going to help you to unlock all your chords and all your modes. This is how you do it. So root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9, 11, 13. The full expression of this is going to be a 13th chord because this is the dominant chord. This is the one. This is the bluesy one. This is the bluesy one. This is one that you need if you're going to do jazz. If you do jazz, well, you need that for jazz as well. Let's look at this Lydian, Mixolydian. The only difference on the Mixolydian is it's got flat 7. We're just carrying that information across. Let's look at the next one. Aeolian, also known as the natural minor. We've got a root, we've got a flat 3rd, we've got a 5th, We've got 7, we've got 9, 11, and we've got 13. Well, let's have a look at Aeolian. It's got a flat third, which we've already put in. It's got a flat 6, so that's going to be a flat 13. And then we're good. That's it. So you can see it's got that flat 13 in there though as well, guys. So these are all extra colours you can add to these chords. So chord 6, you could have a flat 13. Can you have a 13? No. Marcel, don't associate intervals with the letters, the function of the letters. Letters are just labels. Yeah. The intervals in the chords, they create the tensions and the releases within the chord. Okay? This leaves chord 7, the ugly one. Yeah, Wobbly Bob, as I like to call him. Root, flat third. We've got a 5th, 7th, a 9th, 11th, and a 13 here. So let's look at Locrian. Well, we've got flat third, but we also have this flat 5th, this diminished 5th here. We've also got a flat 7. We've also got a flat 9. We haven't got any modification on the 11, but we do have a modification on the 13. We get a flat 13 there. Okay, does this make sense, guys? So what we do is, these are the full expressions of these chords. We will get into a session. Aeolian flat 7 also. Yeah, Aeolian. Yes, it does. Good spot there, Joanne. Yeah, thank you. Because, yeah, someone would have commented that. Yes, we've got it, Sandy. Let me just check, because this is going to be up on YouTube forever, and someone will comment and tell me that I've got it wrong. You know, quite a few. But the thing is, this is going to tell you what other colours you can have there. You don't have to just think about in terms of triads. Now you can start to think to yourself, well, I can, I can add these sevenths. I can add these sevenths. But what about the extensions? What about the 9th, 11th, and 13th? What can I do with those guys? Yeah. And I think that probably is just about enough. I think that was a lot. It's a lot to take in there, guys. There is a lot. There's a big idea that hopefully you've taken that right from the beginning, and that will give you an idea of what you can do with your chords. Now, this is just diatonic chords. These are just chords in major and minor keys, and modes are going to be different as well, and harmonic minor and melodic minor are going to be similar in some ways because they use tertian movement. Any chords that use tertian movement are going to do the same sort of thing, and you could even do it with quartal stuff as well. But the thing is, hopefully, it's just going to help you to really get to grips with those chords, with the scales, unlocking all those modes. Francis says, "Well done, mate. I'm still awake." Well, that's good. I'm glad you're awake. I'm glad you're awake. Yes, I find it all very fascinating. I think it's I really think it is. It's wonderful to be able to share this stuff with you guys. You know, Bernie's brain hurts. Yeah, I know. But look, this is the thing. You cannot expect to just consume this all in one go, because I always say, how do you eat an elephant? You don't consume it all at once. You take it in small bite-sized chunks. Rewind. Watch again. Draw along with me. Get some paper and a pen. Draw along with me. And that goes a long way, because the way we learn, you know, it's like writing things out is really, really useful. It makes it more tangible, because just thinking things, you know, those thoughts, they get mixed up in, you know, what you're going to have for lunch tomorrow, you know. So and then it's lost. Okay. And that's the thing. Right, guys. Okay. So one last plug of the book. I've got to do it. 1 hour 24. I will be trimming the nonsense off the beginning of this lesson, and it will be available on YouTube. And it'll be up in the Facebook group, and it's also on, I think I can manage to get on my Facebook page these days as well, because I've boosted my internet, which is good. So the book's there. Oh no, let's get that barcode up again. Whee! And yes, write it down and practice. Write it down and practice. Find some of these chords. I would suggest, you see, a good thing would be, and I use these all the time as well for teaching students, is something like this, the Jazz Fake book. Yeah, this is a great book. Hey, Ron. Now, do you know this lesson is in honour of Ron, because we went through something similar to this, but I do feel that this one was a bit more concise, and extended it a little bit more as well. You know, so yes, so yeah, what we do is we take a tune, and you look at the fancy, expensive, the expensive chords, and it gives you examples, real live examples that give you context, and maybe something that you can play and add to your repertoire. And then once you add that to your repertoire, then you're actually playing guitar, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. We've got to take all this information and we've got to put it into playing guitar. Yes, hit the like. If you're new here on the channel, thank you for turning up, and hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you very, very soon in another lesson. And I've got some more little quick videos coming up during the week as well. All right, guys, I'm doing this full time now. I can do more. I love it. Okay, all right. Thank you very much for turning up. See you later.